at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore for Game 2 of the 1971 World Series. Pittsburgh took a 1-0 lead in the series, winning Game 1 on Saturday 5-4 in 11 innings. Game 2 was rained out yesterday, so we're playing a day later. That gives Baltimore manager Earl Weaver the opportunity to start Mike Cuellar, who had been scheduled to start Game 3 in Pittsburgh. Starting lineups for today's game. For the visiting Pittsburgh Pirates, batting first the second baseman Dave Cash. Batting second the center fielder Al Oliver. Batting third the left fielder Willie Stargell. Batting fourth the first baseman Bob Robertson. Batting fifth the right fielder Roberto Clemente. Batting sixth the third baseman Rich Hebner. Batting seventh the catcher Manny Sanguillen. Batting eighth the shortstop Gene Alley. And batting ninth the pitcher Luke Walker. On defense, Baltimore has Boog Powell at first, Dave Johnson at second, Mark Melanger at short, Brooks Robinson at third, Don Buford in left, Paul Blair in center, Frank Robinson in right, Andy Etchebarren catching, and on the mound, Mike Cuellar. Cuellar has a good screwball. He was the MVP of the American League Championship Series. He started and won games 1 and game 5. He had an ERA of 2.65 in the championship series. He pitched a complete game in game 1. And Eddie Watt came in for the save in game 2. Over the regular season, Mike Cuellar had a record of 21 and 11 with an ERA of 3.71. Pittsburgh and Baltimore both scratch and clawed in game 1. Neither of the teams was able to score more than 1 run in any inning. And the Pirates down 4-2, clawed their way back up in the 5th to tie it at 4-4, eventually winning the game in 11 innings, 5-4. It's a chilly day here in Baltimore. It's 61 degrees. Wind speed is 5 miles an hour in from left center. We have light rain again. It's been a wet summer and fall in Baltimore. They had a game of the American League Championship Series rained out, and they had several rainouts during the regular season. Leading off in the first inning for the Pirates is the second baseman Dave Cash. He was 1 for 6 in game 1. He had 1 run batted in and he scored a run. He chased a pitch out of the strike zone, strike 1. Hits a fly ball in the center field. Paul Blair drifting over, and he's got it. 1 out. Cuellar doesn't throw the ball hard, but he mixes up his screwball, curveball, and fastball. And occasionally he's been accused of throwing, well, you know. Here is Al Oliver, the center fielder. He was 1 for 6 in game one. That was on Saturday. This game is on Monday, October 11th. He was 1 for 6. He had a double and scored a run. Orioles manager wanted to play this game tonight. Played as a night game, but the commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, refused because he didn't want tomorrow's game 3 to be a day game after a night game. And game 4 has already been publicized ahead of time as being the first nighttime World Series game ever played. The president was going to throw out the first pitch yesterday, but he wasn't able to attend the game today, so his wife, Pat Nixon, stepped in for him and threw out the first pitch. First pitch to Oliver, grounder up the middle, Johnson to his right, has it, throws him out, 2 outs. Here's Willie Stargell. He was 1 for 3 on Saturday. Off the plate, ball 1. It's fly ball into right center. Frank Robinson's over, and he's got it. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We go to the bottom of the first. In game 2 of the World Series, Pittsburgh nothing, Baltimore coming to bat. Baltimore's starting lineup will be leading off the left fielder, Don Buford. Batting second to right fielder, Frank Robinson. Batting third to second baseman, Dave Johnson. Batting fourth to first baseman, Boog Powell. Batting 50, center fielder, Paul Blair. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Brooks Robinson. Batting seventh, the catcher, Andy Etchebarren. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Mark Belanger. Batting ninth, the pitcher, Mike Cuellar. Pirates on defense have Bob Robertson at first, Dave Cash at second, Gene Alley at short, Rich Hebner at third, Willie Stargell in left, Al Oliver in center, Roberto Clemente in right, Manny Sanguillen catching, and on the mound, Luke Walker. This was the, except for Walker, the same lineup in the field that the Pirates had in game 1. Luke Walker in let's see. He had a record of 18-7 during the season with an ERA of 2.66. In the championship series, he was 1-0 with an ERA of 1.50. He started one game. He won 6 innings. And leading off for Baltimore is Don Buford, the left fielder. He was 1 for 5 in game 1. Hits a blooping ball into center field. That's a base hit. Buford's on first with the first hit of the game. Here's Frank Robinson. He was 1 for 5 on Saturday. He had a solo home run in his first at bat. That was in the second inning of that game. Too low, ball 1. Walker got some decent speed on the ball on his fastball. He throws harder than Mike Cuellar. Robinson hits base hit in the right field. Buford rounds second, but He'll hold. He's not going to try to run again on Clementi's arm. Here's the second baseman, Dave Johnson. He was 0 for 5 in game one. This is Johnson's fourth World Series. He's a lifetime .232 hitter in the World Series with 1 home run and 7 runs batted in. Caught the outside corner, strike 1. Fouls it back, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Runners on first and second. Just outside, ball 2. Ball 3, he works count full. Fouls it back. Johnson is a base hit into right center. Clemente up with it. Buford stops at third, so we have bases loaded. Nobody out. Here's Boog Powell. He was 1 for 4 in game one. He scored a run. He was also part of a critical play that ended up looming very large for Baltimore. He was thrown out trying to score on a possible sacrifice fly, which would have gave Baltimore a 5-2 lead. If he had scored and the game continued like it did, the Baltimore may have come out of that game with a 5-4 win after 9 innings. Pollard's base hit. Into right center, in the gap. That's at the wall. 2 runs are in. It's 2-0 Baltimore. Let's watch that again. Gets through Oliver and Clemente. Buford scores. Robinson scores. Johnson takes third. It's 2-0 Baltimore. And there's still nobody out. Here's Paul Blair. He was 3 for 5 with a double and a run batted in game one. It's fly ball down the left field line, but that is foul. Ground ball up the middle. Alley dives. He's got it. His only play is the first. 1 out. The runners advance. Johnson scores. Powell takes third. It's 3-0 Baltimore. What a play by Gene Alley. So far, Alley is having a great World Series. Here's Brooks Robinson. He was 3 for 4 with a home run, an RBI, and 2 runs scored in game one. So 1 out, runner on third. Curveball, strike 1 called. Strike 2 called. Low and away, ball 1. Fouls it back. Count remains 1-2. Base hit in the left center. Oliver's up with it. Goes it back in. Powell scores. It's 4-0 Baltimore. Here is Andy Etchebarren. He's 1 for 4. Or he was 1 for 4 in game one. He came in after Elrod Hendricks got hurt. Hendricks is on the bench and available today to play. 2 high, ball 1. Strike 1 called. Ball 2. Base hit in the left center. Stargell bobbles it. The runners are able to advance. Robinson stops at third. Etchebarren at second. Here's Mark Belanger, the shortstop. He was 2 for 5 on Saturday. Low, ball one. Hits a bouncer to third. Hebner's up with it. Throw to first. Brooks Robinson scores. Etchebarren goes to third. Here comes Danny Murtaugh. That will be all for Luke Walker. Coming in to pitch is Bob Moose. I don't believe Bob Moose. Yeah, he made one appearance in the championship series. He pitched 2 innings. He had a record of no wins, no losses, an ERA of 13.50. In the regular season, he had a record of 7-4. He got into 27 games and was a starter for 16 of those. So 2 outs, runner on third. Baltimore leads 5-0. And here's the pitcher, Mike Cuellar. Strike called on a curveball. Bob Moose, he's a hard-throwing youngster. Keeps the ball low. He's 24 years old. The 0-1 pitch. Fouls it back, strike 2. Outside, ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 3. But Baltimore gets 5 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, 1 left. We played 1 in Game 2 of the 1971 World Series. Baltimore leads 5-0. It'll be the heart of the order coming up for Pittsburgh in the second. Bob Robertson, Roberto Clemente, and Rich Hebner. Bob Robertson was 0 for 4 on Saturday in Game 1. He missed a big chunk of the regular season due to a knee injury, but was able to come back and play in August and September. He was 0 for 4 in Game 1. First pitch, swing and a miss on a fastball, strike 1. That was out of the strike zone. It's a grounder right back to the mound. Cuellar has it, throws him out. 1 out. Here's Roberto Clemente. He was 2 for 5 with a triple and 2 runs batted in. Clemente had 2 ground ball outs that Baltimore was not able to turn a double play on either one of those, and both of those drove in a run. So I think his batting line was even more impressive than it looks on paper. He had a very productive day in Game 1. That caught the inside corner, strike 1. Missed, ball 1. Strike 2 called. After the game, the teams will pack up and travel to Pittsburgh, where Game 3 is scheduled at Three Rivers Stadium on Tuesday. Clemente hits a grounder up the middle. That's a base hit. First hit of the game for Pittsburgh. Here's Rich Hebner. He was 0 for 5 in Game 1. ball one. Hebner hits fly ball into center field. Paul Blair coming in. He's got it. 1 out. Here's the catcher, Manny Sanguillen. He was 1 for 5 in game one. He had a double. He scored a run, and he had a stolen base. Let me check. If I am not mistaken, no, I am mistaken. I thought that perhaps Sanguillen scored the winning run in game one, but he didn't. Screwball low, ball two. It's a grounder to third. Robinson, his only play is the first. The throw, bang, bang play. They got him just in time. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second. It is Baltimore 5, Pittsburgh nothing. Top of the order, facing Bob Moose in the second inning. Don Buford is 1 for 1. He singled in the first. He singled and he scored on his last trip. Caught the outside corner, strike one. It's a weak grounder down the first base line. That's strike two. Outside, ball one. Too low, ball two. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's fly ball into center field. Al Oliver going back. Oliver's at the wall. That is gone. Home run. That's Buford's first home run of the World Series. It's 6-0 Baltimore. If you're familiar with Game 2 of the real 1971 World Series, this is looking a little familiar. Here's Frank Robinson. He's 1 for 1. He singled in the first. He came around and scored also. Low, ball one. Strike one called. Change up and in, ball two. Robinson, it's fly ball in the left field. Willie Stargell going back. He's just going to watch that one. That's a home run. That's his second home run of the World Series. It's 7-0 Baltimore. Here's Dave Johnson, the second baseman. He's 1 for 1. He singled in the first. That loaded the bases. Foul tip, strike one. We looked at strike two. Base hit in the right field. Here is Boog Powell, who's 1 for 1 today. He doubled in the first. That scored Don Buford and Frank Robinson. That was low, just low, ball one. Liner down the third base line, that's foul. Yesterday in Pittsburgh, not in Pittsburgh. This is coming out all wrong. Yesterday, the Pirates fans, after wanting to tune in for the World Series, before they knew it got rained rained out. Instead, got to watch the Steelers get beaten by the Cleveland Browns. The 2-1 pitch. Powell swings and misses. Strike two. Ball three. I saw that the American League has officially announced that everybody figured that with Washington moving to Dallas that they would move to the AL West. And the Chicago White Sox front office had expressed a desire to move to the AL East. But the American League has announced that it'll be the Milwaukee Brewers moving to the American League East for the 1972 season. Curveball just below the belt. Strike three. That is strikeout number 2 for Bob Moose. One out. Here is Paul Blair, who's 0 for 1. He grounded to Gene Alley in the first. That scored Dave Johnson. Inside, ball one. And speaking of Milwaukee, in fact, I'm going to take a timeout for a moment. All right, and I'm back. Speaking of Milwaukee, yesterday they announced a big trade with Boston. The Red Sox traded Ken Brett, Billy Canigliaro, Joe LaHood, Jim Lombard, Don Pavletich, and George Scott to the Brewers for minor leaguer Pat Scrabble, Tommy Harper, Luke Krause, and Marty Patton. There have been a lot of controversy in the Red Sox clubhouse over Tony Canigliaro, of all people, who wasn't even with Boston this year, with sides drawn up and rivalries and this and that. And it's ironic because they traded both Billy Canigliaro and Joe LaHood, who were on opposite sides of the feud. And George Scott was reported to be a clubhouse problem. So we'll see what happens with that. I remember as a kid in the 70s, I always associated George Scott with the Brewers and not the Red Sox. Just like I always associated Jim Lombard with the Brewers and the Phillies and not the Red Sox. But my digression is over, and we'll get back to the game. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Paul Blair is up. Strike 2 called. High and tight, ball 3. Fouls it back. Strike 3 called on a curveball. 2 outs. Here's Brooks Robinson. He is 1 for 1 today. He singled in the first. That scored Boog Powell. Brooks Robinson, he is 4 for 5 in the World Series. Ball 1. He missed high and outside, ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Ball 4. First walk given up by Bob Moose. We have 2 outs, runners on first and second. Here's Andy Etchebarren. He's 1 for 1. He singled to center in the first. And then on Al Oliver's error, the runners advanced the base. Swing and a miss, strike 1. In there at the knees, strike 2. Way inside, ball 1. Outside and below the knees, ball 2. Strike 3 call. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. They left 2 men on base. We played 2 here in Baltimore for Game 2 of the World Series. It's Baltimore 7, Pittsburgh nothing. Gene Alley leads off for the Pirates. He was 3 for 4 on Saturday with a triple. His triple started the rally in the 11th inning that led to the Pirates' victory. He is generally regarded as a good field, no hit, but he came up strong at the end of the National League Championship Series and in Game 1 of the World Series. Bob Moose is on deck. Breaking ball high, ball 1. It's fly ball down the right field line. Robinson's after it. But it makes the seats. It's fly ball into right center. Robinson. Blair looking up. That one is gone. That's a home run for Gene Alley. His first of the World Series. He had 11 home runs in the regular season. That brings up the pitcher, Bob Moose. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Pop foul, third base side. Brooks Robinson's after it. But that makes the seats. The 0-2 pitch. Curveball, low and away, ball 1. It's ground ball to first. Powell. Oh, he fumbled it. They're going to give Boog Powell an error. And we have a run around first. Nobody out. Here's Dave Cash, who's 0 for 1. He flied out to Paul Blair in the first inning. Al Oliver's on deck. Curveball around the letters, ball 1. Grounder up the middle. Johnson to his right. The Belanger for 1. To first. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. That brings up Al Oliver. In the 5th inning in Game 1, Oliver had maybe the single most dramatic play of the game. Pirates were down 4-3. And Boog Powell was on third. Etchebarren singled. Etchebarren hit a line drive out to Oliver. Powell tried to score on that and was thrown out at the plate by Al Oliver. That may have saved the game for Pittsburgh. He's 0 for 1 today. He grounded to Johnson in the first inning. Swing and a miss, strike one. Screwball, that was almost in the dirt. Ball one. Another swing and a miss, strike two. Hits a bouncer to short. Belanger's up with it, throws him out. 3 outs. Pittsburgh gets 1 run on 1 hit on Gene Ellie's home run. 1 error, no one left. We go to the bottom of the third. It is Baltimore 7, Pittsburgh 1. It'll be Belanger, Cuellar, and Buford for Baltimore in the third. Belanger is 0 for 1. He grounded to Hebner in the first. That scored Brooks Robinson. That was Baltimore's 5th run that inning. Change up inside, ball one. In there at the knee, strike one. High and inside, ball two. Inside, ball three. 3 balls and 1 strike. Belanger hits a base hit in the right field. That is hit number 10 today for the Orioles. Here's Mike Cuellar. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the first inning. That ended the Orioles first when they batted around. They sent 9 men to the plate. Cuellar lays down a bunt. Is it foul? Robertson has it. Throws this alley. Throw goes into left field. So we have runners on first and second. Nobody out. They're giving Bob Robertson an error on that. And here's Don Buford, who's 2 for 2. He singled in the first, came around and scored. He hit a solo home run in the second. Swing and a miss, strike one. Don Buford was the American League MVP in 1970. Just like Boog Powell of the Orioles was the MVP in 1969. And Powell was also the MVP of the American League Championship Series in 1969. Ball two. 2 balls and 1 strike. Curveball. That caught the outside corner. Strike 2. Buford hits a base hit in the center field. Belanger rounds third. He's going to stop. And once again, the Orioles have the bases loaded with nobody out. That's Buford's 3rd hit of the game. And here's Frank Robinson, who's 2 for 2. He singled in the first, and he hit a solo home run in the second. Buford and Robinson had hit back-to-back home runs in the last inning. In there at the knees, strike one. Low and inside, ball one. Low and outside, ball two. Robinson hits one up the middle. Alley to his left. Has it. His only plays the first. Belanger scores. Oh, once again, play up the middle like that. I missed it. Alley stepped on second for 1. Threw to first, double play. But Belanger scores. It's 8-1. And Cuellar takes third. Here's Dave Johnson. He's 2 for 2. He singled in the first. That loaded the bases, and he singled again in the second. Yeah, the plays around second base can be hard to tell exactly what's going on. I think it would be easier to do this if you were watching an actual game. Or watching like an actual video representation of a game. Strike one called. So I apologize for making that error. Down and away, ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. It's a shallow fly ball into center field. Oliver drifting over, has it. 3 outs. But Baltimore gets 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. They left 1 man on base. We played 3. In Game 2 of the World Series, it is Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 1. Willie Stargell leads off the Pirates' 4th. He's 0 for 1. He fly to Paul Blair in the first. Hits a fly ball in the right field. Frank Robinson, he's just watching that one go. Home run. First home run of the World Series for Willie Stargell. That'll make it 8-2 Baltimore. Here's Bob Robertson. He's 0 for 1. He grounded to Cuellar in the second. In the dirt and inside, ball 1. Outside, ball 2. Low, ball 3. Ball 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. That brings up Roberto Clemente. He's 1 for 1. He singled in the second. He's 3 for 6 in the World Series with a triple and 2 runs batted in. He's having a good series. It's grounder to first. Powell take it himself. That's 1 out. Robertson moves to second. Here's Rich Hebner. He's 0 for 1. He flies to Paul Blair in the second. In at the knee, strike 1. High and inside, ball 1. Another one too high, ball 2. Cuellar struggling with his control a little bit in this inning. High and outside, ball 3. Just below the belt, strike 2. Fouls it back. Count remains full. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the first strikeout of the game given up by Cuellar. Here's Manny Sanguillen. He's 0 for 1. He grounded a Powell in the second inning. Sanguillen hits a fly ball into center field. Blair drifting over has got it. 3 outs. Pirates get 1 run, 1 hit on Stargell's home run. No errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It is Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 2. The heart of the order for Baltimore in the 4th. Boog Powell, Paul Blair, and Brooks Robinson. Boog Powell is 1 for 2 today. He doubled in the first. That scored 2 runs. And he struck out in the second. That was high and tight. Ball one. Another one high and tight. Ball two. Hits a hard grounder to first. Robertson took it on the first bounce. And steps on first for the out. 1 out. Here is Paul Blair, who's 0 for 2. He grounded to Alley in the first. That scored Dave Johnson, and he struck out in the second. Curveball, ball one. Swing, there's foul tip. It's a bouncer right back to the mound. Moose has it, throws him out. 2 outs. Here's Brooks Robinson. He's 1 for 1. He singled in the first, and he walked in the second. When he singled in the first, that scored Boog Powell. That made it Baltimore 4, Pittsburgh nothing. Hits a sharp grounder to first. Robertson takes it. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We played 4 here in Game 2 of the World Series. It is Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 2. Fourth, that was the first inning that Baltimore didn't get anybody on base. In the 5th inning for Pittsburgh, it will be Gene Alley, the pitcher spot, and Dave Cash. Pittsburgh's been going after the first pitch. Their last several at-bats. Gene Alley is 1 for 1. He had a solo home run in the third. That was the first run of the game for the Pirates. Screwball, swing and a miss, strike 1. It's a grounder to Cuellar. Cuellar throws, he's out, 1 out. Pinch hitting for Bob Moose is Jose Pagan. Pagan was 1 for 1 in Game 1 of the World Series. He singled in the 11th inning. That scored Gene Alley with the go-ahead run that was ultimately the winning run. Curveball, strike 1 called. It's a fly ball into right field. Frank Robinson moving back. He's on the track, and he's got it. 2 outs. And here's Dave Cash, who's 0 for 2. He flied to Paul Blair in the first, and he grounded it into a double play in the third. Too high, ball 1. Strike 1 called. Grounder down the third base line. That's foul. It's a liner into center field, but that is right at Paul Blair. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's an official World Series game at Memorial Stadium. Baltimore leads 8-2. Coming into pitches, Bob Veal making his first appearance in the World Series. In the regular season, he was 1-4 with an ERA of 6.70. He got into 47 games, all in relief. And let me see what he did in the championship series. got into 2 games. He pitched 1 inning. He had no wins, no losses, no saves, 1 strikeout, and a whip of 1.00. The opposing hitters hit .333 against him. In my APC universe, Bob Veal at one time struck out 19 hitters in a ball game. He's 36 years old. He used to bring some serious heat. He still throws hard. But there was a time he brought like Sandy Koufax level speed. It's the bottom of the order for the Orioles in the 5th. Andy Etchebarren, Mark Belanger, Mike Cuellar. Etchebarren is 1 for 2. He singled in the 1st, and he struck out in the 2nd. Low and outside, ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Veal, after only 2 pitches, already throwing harder than Luke Walker or Bob Moose in this game. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 2. That was up and away, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 3, Etchebarren works the count full. Ball 4. That brings up Mark Belanger, who's 1 for 2 today. He grounded to Hebner in the 1st. That scored Brooks Robinson, and he singled in the 3rd. Fouls it back, strike 1. High and tight, ball 1. The 1-2 pitch. Outside, ball 2. Low and outside, ball 3. It's a grounder to 1st. Robertson will take it. His only plays at 1st. So we have 1 out. Here is Mike Cuellar. Cuellar is 0 for 1. He struck out in the 1st. And he had a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd. But he actually made it to 1st because of an error. He lays 1 down. Sanguillen throws the catch, covering 1st. 2 outs. Etchebarren takes 3rd. Here's Don Buford. He's 3 for 3 today. He singled in the 1st. Hit a solo home run in the 2nd, and he singled in the 3rd. Runner on 1st. 2 outs. That was low. Ball 1. Strike 1 called on a curveball. He hits a fly ball in the left field. Willie Stargell coming in. And he's got it. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left. We've played 5 in Baltimore. It's game 2 of the 1971 World Series, and Baltimore leads 8-2. Al Oliver leads off for the Pirates. He's 0 for 2 today. He grounded to Johnson in the 1st and grounded to Belanger in the 3rd. On the inside part of the plate, strike one. Pops it up. Powell in foul ground will take it. One out. Here's Willie Stargell. He's 1 for 2. He flied out to Paul Blair in the first, and he hit a solo home run in the fourth. On the inside corner at the knee, strike one with that screwball. Too high, ball one. Strike two called. Pops it up, first base side in foul ground. Powell's after it. He's at the seats, but that's out of play. Low, ball two. Stargell hits a base hit in the right field. Frank Robinson is up with it. So runner on first, one out. Here's Bob Robertson, who is 0 for 1. He grounded to Cuellar in the first, or in the second rather, and walked in the fourth. Robertson jumps on the first pitch. It's fly ball in the left field. Buford watches it go. Home run. That's the third home run given up today by Mike Cuellar. It's 8-4 Baltimore. Here is Roberto Clemente. He's 1 for 2. He singled in the second, and he grounded to Powell in the fourth. Swing and a miss, strike one. Ball one. Pittsburgh may be getting uncomfortably close to Baltimore now. High and inside, ball two. Inside, ball three. Swing and a miss at the screwball. Strike two, full count. Pops it up, third base side. Brooks Robinson is after it. But that makes the seats. Count remains full. Base hit in the left field. That's Clemente's second hit of the game. Here's Rich Hebner. He's 0 for 2. He flied to Blair in the second and struck out in the fourth. It's a liner down the first base line, but that's foul. It's fly ball in the right field. Robinson drifting back. Has it. 2 outs. Clemente goes back to first. So 2 outs. Runner on first. Here's Manny Sanguillen. He's 0 for 2. He grounded to Brooks Robinson in the second, and he flied out to Paul Blair in the fourth. Check the swing on the curveball, but that's called a strike. Swing and a miss, strike two on the screwball. It's a fly ball into center field. Paul Blair running over to his right has it. 3 outs. But the Pirates get 2 runs on 3 hits. One of those, Bob Robertson's 2-run home run. No errors. They left 1 man on base. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 4. Frank Robinson leads off for the Orioles in the 6th. He is 2 for 3 today. He singled in the first. He had a solo home run in the second. And he hit into a double play in the third, but Mark Belanger scored on that double play. swings at the first pitch, fastball, base hit. It's hit number 3 today for Frank Robinson. First 2 months of the season, people were saying that Frank Robinson looks like he's washed up. There was rumors that Cleveland Indians were talking to him about retiring and coming over to manage them in place of Alvin Dark. He denied the rumors. And he also decided this year that he wasn't going to manage in Puerto Rico in the off season. He had done that in the last 3 years, and he had led his team to 3 consecutive championships. But he turned the team over to Louis Aparicio this year. Here's Dave Johnson. He's 2 for 3. He singled in the first. That loaded the bases. He singled in the second, and he flied out to Al Oliver in the third. The 1-0 pitch, changeup. Frank Robinson's going for second. The throw from Sanguini, safe. They never had a chance. He stole that one off of Bob Veal. So nobody out. Robinson's in scoring position. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. I'm guessing they would love to get those 2 runs back. Johnson, it's fly ball into left field, near the line. Stargell going back. Stargell's at the wall. And he makes the catch up against the wall. Robinson tags the throw. Robinson slides, he's safe. So 1 out, run around third. Here's Boog Powell, who's 1 for 3. He doubled in the first. That scored Buford and Robinson. He struck out in the second. He grounded to Bob Robertson in the fourth. Sanguine goes to talk to Veal. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Strike 1. Pittsburgh, they got to get out of this inning without giving up a run. Keep it within 4. They got the firepower. They could, if game stays at a 4-run differential, they could tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. Outside, ball 2. Ball 3. Powell hits a routine fly into right field. Clemente drifting back, he has it. Frank Robinson tags, here's the throw. It's going to be close, he's out! That is the second time in this series that an Oriole base runner has been thrown out at the plate trying to tag up. Baltimore gets no runs. 1 hit, no errors, no one left. We played 6. It is Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 4. Baltimore has 8 runs, 12 hits, 1 error. They've left 5 men on base. Pittsburgh has 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. They've left 3 men on base. Baltimore came out in a rush. In the bottom of the first, Buford led off with a single. Frank Robinson single. Dave Johnson single. That loaded the bases. Then Powell doubled. That scored Buford and Robinson, making it 2-0. Then Paul Blair grounded out to the shortstop. That scored Dave Johnson. That made it 3-0. Brooks Robinson single. That scored Boog Powell, making it 4-0. Andy Etchebarren single, then an outfield error put runners at second and third. And then Mark Belanger grounded out to third. That scored Brooks Robinson. That made it 5-0 Baltimore. Then in the Baltimore second, Don Buford led off with a home run. That made it 6-0. Frank Robinson hit a home run following Buford. That made it 7-0 Baltimore. Then Gene Alley led off Pittsburgh's third with a solo home run. That made it 7-1 Baltimore. But Baltimore came back in the bottom of the third. Belanger led off with a single. Cuellar sacrificed in the second, but Cuellar was safe at first on the error. Then Buford single. That loaded the bases. And Frank Robinson grounded into a double play. That scored Belanger. That made it 8-1 Baltimore. Then in the fourth, Willie Stargell led off the Pirate fourth with a solo home run, making it 8-2. And then in the Pirates' sixth, with one out, Willie Stargell singled and Bob Robertson hit a two-run home run, making it 8-4. And Frank Robinson ended the sixth inning ended with Frank Robinson on third and one out. Dave Johnson hit a fly ball to Stargell that was up against the wall. Frank Robinson tried to score, and he was thrown out at the plate. So we start the seventh inning with Baltimore ahead, 8-4. And it will be Gene Alley, the pitcher's spot, and Dave Cash for Pittsburgh in the seventh. Gene Alley is 1 for 2. He hit a solo home run in the third. That was Pittsburgh's first run. And he grounded out to Cuellar in the fifth. He is 4 for 6 in the World Series with a triple and a home run. He's having a great series so far. Cuellar's first pitch, he fouls it back. Pirates are being very aggressive, hitting against Cuellar. Caught the inside corner, strike one. Alley hits fly ball into center field. Paul Blair running over to his left, has it, one out. Pinch hitting for Bob Veal will be Charlie Sands. Charlie Sands is the third string catcher for the Pirates. He is the 25th man on their roster. And Danny Murtaugh says that Charlie Sands is the best 25th player in the majors. Said that Sands has a perfect temperament for it. He knows his role. He waits very patiently for when he's plugged in to either pinch hit or catch. And he goes in and whenever he's called in, he does his job. He does it well. And he said he is like the perfect utility guy. Sands did not make an appearance in the championship series. And in the regular season, he got into 22 games. He had 1 home run and 5 runs batted in. Sands came over to the Pirates from the Yankees. He is 24 years old. If I recall correctly, he made 1 appearance in the 1971 World Series as a pinch hitter, and I believe it was in Game 2. So here's the first pitch from Cuellar. Low, ball 1. Fouls it back. looking back, I think I remember Charlie Sands as a member of the Brewers, if I'm not mistaken. I think I remember him with Milwaukee. He bounced that one to the plate. Ball two. Hard grounder to first. Powell up with it. Tosses to Cuellar covering. 2 outs. Here's Dave Cash. He's over 3. He flied to Paul Blair in the first. He grounded it into a double play in the third, and he lined out to Paul Blair in the fifth. And we're under a rain delay. All right, and we're back on WJST in Parma, Norwich, Tuscaloosa, and Utah. The rain delay lasted a little over an hour. Coming in a pitch for Baltimore, Mike Cuellar is not coming back out. Will be Tom Dukes. Dukes came over from San Diego with Pat Dobson. He did not appear in the League Championship Series. He had a record of 5-6 with an ERA of 3.80 in the regular season. He had 3 saves. Dukes is a right-handed pitcher. And he's a fastball pitcher. He keeps the ball low. Dave Cash returns to the plate. Strike one called. It's fly ball down the left field line. That is hooking foul. Had a lot of trouble with rain in Baltimore and the Orioles this season. Ball one inside. Lays down a bunt. Dukes up with it. Dukes was up with it through to Johnson covering. 3 outs. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and a rain delay of 62 minutes. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. It is Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 4. Bob Miller comes back out to pitch for, he pitches for Pittsburgh. He was the winning pitcher in Game 1. He pitched 2 innings. He gave up 2 hits. Bob Miller, he came over from the Padres in August to the Pirates. Leading off for the Orioles in the 7th is Paul Blair, who's 0 for 3. He grounded to Alley in the first. That scored Dave Johnson. He struck out in the second, and he grounded out to the pitcher in the 4th. Fastball, strike one called. Inside, ball one. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He chased one out of the strike zone. 1 out. He got fooled on a curveball there. Here's Brooks Robinson, who's 1 for 2. He singled in the first. That scored Boog Powell. He walked in the second, and he grounded to Robertson in the fourth. Changeup hit the outside corner, strike one. Fastball in there at the knees, strike two. High and tight, ball one. Too high, ball two. Hits fly ball to left field. Stargell drifting back, has it. 2 outs. Here's Andy Etchebarren, who's 1 for 2. He singled in the first. And the runners ended up advancing on an error. He struck out in the second. He walked in the fifth. That error proved costly because a run scored after it. Swing and a miss, strike one. Inside, ball one. Another swing and a miss, strike two. Strike three, swung and missed at that one. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We played 7. Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 4. Tom Dukes comes out for his second inning in relief. It'll be Al Oliver, Willie Stargell, and Bob Robertson. Al Oliver is 0 for 3 today. He grounded to Johnson in the first, grounded to Belanger in the third, and he popped to Powell in the sixth. He's 1 for 9 in the series. Strike one called on a fastball. Fouls it back. Etchebarren's after it. It's out of play. It's a hard grounder to third. Robinson's up with it. The throw to first, 1 out. Here is Willie Stargell, who's 2 for 3. He flied out to Blair in the first. He had a solo home run in the fourth. And he singled in the sixth. He's 3 for 6 in the World Series so far. That almost hit him. Ball one. He hits a fly ball into right field. Frank Robinson's there. Frank Robinson bobbles it. But he's able to control it and put it away. 2 outs. Here is Bob Robertson, who's 1 for 2. He grounded to Cuellar in the second. He walked in the fourth, and he had a 2-run homer in the sixth. That put the game to within 4 for Pittsburgh, and I think they were starting to get a little uncomfortable in the Baltimore dugout with that. It's a liner down the third base line, but that's foul. Curveball, ball one. Ball two. It's a grounder to third. Brooks Robinson's up with it. Throws a... Wait! The throw is high, and Powell couldn't get it. It was in the dugout, and Robertson ends up at second. Brooks Robinson, he's been having some problems on defense in the postseason. He had 3 errors in the championship series. And now 1 today. Maybe the wet grass helped cause that, but he's also been making some great plays as well, so. And he's having a good series with the bat so far. Here's Roberto Clemente, who's 2 for 3. He singled in the second. Grounded to Powell in the fourth, and he singled in the sixth. He's 4 for 8 in the World Series. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Strike one. Too close. Ball one. Clemente hits a base hit into left field. Robertson comes around and scores. It's 8-5, Baltimore. That's the third hit of the game for Clemente. There's Rich Hebner. He's 0 for 3. He flied to Blair in the second. He struck out in the fourth, and he flied out to Frank Robinson in the sixth. Fastball high and outside, ball one. It's a slow roller to second. Dave Johnson's up with it to throw to first. 3 outs. Pirates get 1 unearned run, 1 hit, 1 error. They left 1 man on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 5. Bob Miller back out the pitch. Mark Belanger leads off for the Orioles. He's 1 for 3 today. He grounded to Rich Hebner in the first. That scored Brooks Robinson. He singled in the third. And he grounded to Bob Robertson in the fifth. Inside, ball one. High and tight, ball two. Curveball in at the knees, strike one. Fouls it back. Strike two. It's a grounder to second. Cash up with it to throw to first. 1 out. Pinch hitting for Tom Dukes will be Kurt Moton. He is 0 for 1 in the World Series. He was a pinch hitter in Game 1. Change up inside, ball one. Ball two. Swing and a miss, strike one. High and tight, ball three. Fouls it back. Swing and a miss, strike three, 2 outs. Here's Don Buford. He's 3 for 4 today. He singled in the first. He had a solo home run in the second. He singled in the third. And he flied out to Willie Stargell in the fifth. He is 4 for 9 in the World Series. Low and away, ball one. Strike one called. Got a foul tip there. Strike two. Ball two. Grounder up the middle. Cash to his right. Has it. Throws him out. Nice diving play by Dave Cash. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We go to the ninth. It is Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 5. Kurt Moton remains in the game in left field. Coming in to pitch for the Orioles is Grant Jackson. Grant Jackson did not make an appearance in the League Championship Series. He was 3-3 in the regular season with an ERA of 3.74 with 4 saves. He's a fastball pitcher, but he keeps the ball up. He could be prone to the home run ball. It's the bottom of the order for the Pirates in the ninth. Manny Sanguillen, Gene Alley in the pitcher spot. Sanguillen is 0 for 3. He grounded a Brooks Robinson in the second. Flied to Blair in the fourth and flied to Blair again in the sixth. Caught the inside corner, strike one. Gene Alley's on deck. Changeup, ball one. Swing and a miss, strike two. Pirates need base runners right now. It's fly ball into right field. Frank Robinson drifts over to his right. And he has it, 1 out. Here's Gene Alley. He's 1 for 3. He had a solo home run in the third. That was Pittsburgh's first run of the game. Grounded to the pitcher in the fifth, and he flied out to Paul Blair in the seventh. Fastball, outside, ball one. Swing and a miss, strike one. Pops it up on the infield. Belanger calling for 2 outs. Pinch hitting for the Pirates, Gene Clines. Clines making his first appearance in the World Series. He had 291 in the regular season, no home runs, 20 runs batted in. Let me see if he, I'm not sure if he even played in the championship series. I have to look. Now, Clines got into 3 games. He was 0 for 2. Dave Cash is on deck. Changeup. Swing, he has a foul tip. Another fastball, caught the outside corner, strike 2. Clines hits a line drive into left field, but it's right at Moten. That's the game. Baltimore wins 8-5 and ties the series. Baltimore had 8 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors. Pittsburgh had 5 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. Mike Cuellar gets the win. Luke Walker gets the loss, and Grant Jackson gets a save. Frank Robinson is the star of the game. He went 3 for 4 with a home run and a stolen base. Don Buford for the Orioles went 3 for 5 with a home run. On the Pittsburgh side, Willie Stargell was 2 for 4 with a home run. Bob Robertson was 1 for 3 with a home run, 2 runs batted in. And Gene Alley was 1 for 4 with a home run. Time of this game, 2 hours and 37 minutes, and included in that, in addition to that, was a 62-minute rain delay. Cuellar didn't look as good today as he did against Chicago. But he got the job done. He gave up 3 home runs. He gave up only 6 hits, but 3 of those were home runs. And at times he looked like he was struggling with his control, but Pittsburgh didn't seem to take advantage of that. They kept swinging early in the count. Pirates Pirates starter Luke Walker didn't make it out of the first inning. If Baltimore batted around and scored 5 runs. Bob Moose finished the first inning. He ended up pitching 3 1/3. He gave up 3 runs. 2 of those were earned. He gave up 2 home runs. The home runs to Frank Robinson and Don Buford. Bob Veal and Bob Miller both pitched well in relief, though, for Pittsburgh. And Tom Dukes and Grant Jackson both pitched well in relief for Baltimore as well. So the teams leave Baltimore now to head to Pittsburgh. And there won't be a travel day now because today was scheduled to be the travel day. But they had to reschedule because of the rain delay. Yes, or the rain out yesterday. So this game looked like it started out looking like it was going to be a blowout, but then Pittsburgh came back and at least made it interesting. I went over the 71 World Series again before I played this, and in a lot of ways, except for the last 2 games, I don't find this World Series all that interesting. Except mainly for watching Clemente play. And this game kind of went along the lines of the real game 2 of that World Series. Let's take a look. I think the projected starters for Game 3 would be Jim Palmer against Steve Blass. At a game, Sam McNally, but I think it would more like probably be Palmer. Well, now we'll see. In real life, Dave McNally pitched in Game 1. And I think Blass did too, because in real life, both of the league championship series were both sweeps. And I don't know if it would really matter for Baltimore whether it would be McNally or Palmer, because they both had excellent seasons in 1971. The only thing that kept McNally from having an outstanding one-loss record in mind was because of the time he missed on the disabled list, and he did not have the winning streak coming off the disabled list like he did in real life. But we'll see what happens the next game. Once again, the final score in Game 2 of the 1971 World Series. Baltimore 8, Pittsburgh 5. This ties the series at 1 game apiece. Hope you enjoyed this. Baltimore came out swinging, similar to like what Pittsburgh had done in the National League Championship Series. And Pittsburgh ultimately stopped them after the 3rd inning. It came clawing back, got it to win in 3 runs. So that made it interesting, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this game. Thank you for watching.